Good evening. This is Kenny Tan. Welcome everybody to the Real Biz Academy's monthly California Real Estate Update Southern California edition. Tonight we have live streams over a couple of YouTube channels. Our Chinese channel 建有地产贷款培训 and the Real Biz Academy English channel. And we also have live stream on Facebook on the Cinemac live stream channel, and of course on Twitch. If you're on any one of those platforms and you're listening to us and watching us, welcome. We got a lot of good stuff in store for you tonight. Well, first of all, let me welcome people that are in the chat room. I saw Andrew, Carrie, Justin. Where else? Andrew. Oh, yeah. Okay, and Maria, I know Feng Jiao and Hannah, and a few of other individuals. I might have missed your names, I apologize, but if you are watching us, do come into the chat room and say hello to us. Now let me go ahead and introduce to you our special guest for tonight. In the middle, and he's wearing a black golf shirt tonight, and his name is Tim Chen. Tim Chen is one of Centermac's Southern California finest, and he's going to talk to us about some exciting new project in Southern California. And then to your right is Jin Riley, who by now is pretty well known and reputable. Everybody knows who she is. And she's going to tell us some exciting news coming out of San Diego, including the new development in Three Roots. So without further ado, let me go ahead and put Tim on the screen. Tim, if you would please tell us what your specialty is and let us know what you're going to talk about tonight.
Sure. Thank you, Kenny. And thanks for everyone tuning in on this YouTube channel tonight. Haven't seen a lot of you for a while, and hope everyone is doing well, in good health. I've been CenterMac agent for almost 6 years now. Started in 2015, late 2015. And my passion in real estate is to learn what all kinds of real estate transaction has to offer. So tonight, it's more of a sharing what I have done and achieved, and then giving some of my experience. So for a lot of you out there, if you want to move on with the transaction, maybe this will be related to some situation that you might have faced, and then help you out, and also help the either the buyer or the seller out for a long-term relationship. So besides sharing that, I also have a pretty exciting project to share with you. This project is based by Toll Brothers, and also recently they team up with Lennar. So there's two developers now, major developer for this area, and this area is going to be in Greater Los Angeles. So yeah, I'm about to share that with you, and hope you guys get good information tonight.
All right. Before I go to the slide team, let me say hello to Maria Slichkova, Kevin Wang, and Tanya. Tanya, how are you doing, Tanya? All right, let's go to the slide team.
Sure. So the slide number one, basically this is the development site in Montebello. Now this is near the 60 freeway. So I believe a lot of people tuning in tonight are all agents. So when you see this the sky view, which is taken by a drone, you can tell right away this is basically like a hillside mountain development, and it takes a lot of effort to trench, to flatten the area because there's a different elevation, and to to make it strong and sturdy for building single-family homes and townhomes. So this is, I would say, back in 2018, Toll Brother took the picture, and when they signed the contract to develop this land, they basically just draw this whole 488 acres of area, and then start doing the civil engineering and planning out how to build different houses in different sections. So if Kenny could jump to the next slide, which is a recent picture. This is the night view from the mountain. That's, yes, downtown Los Angeles. So yes, you will see downtown Los Angeles from this Montebello new project, which, by the way, it's called the Metro Heights. So it's a pretty good elevation. You can see the downtown night view if LA has no smog during that time, and it's a very well developed area right by the Montebello Mall. A lot of business starting to open around the area. They're all new, and the area is basically a newly development gated community, which will enhance the surrounding of the neighborhood. Because I've been talking to Kenny today earlier, actually, yeah, earlier today. We were discussing about Montebello area. When we speak about Montebello to a lot of Chinese or Asian buyers, the prospects, they will think that area is more of a Latino or Mexican um, residential area. And what I'm trying to do is, once these projects start to develop bit by bit, I will pass on these information to all the Centermac agents, and also Kenny has good interest in that area too. That you can see the why Toll Brother choose that area, and why Lennar team up with Toll Brother. The last project that they team up was in Altair Irvine, which is everybody known a well-developed neighborhood in a good school district. Why did they both choose this area? There must be a good reason. So let's sit tight. Once I have more information, I will share with all of you on that. Kenny, can you jump to the slide where the mountain has been cleared and trenched? This is the interior living room view. Uh, Typical Toll Brothers, they use the top-notch material and well-designed, luxurious feel, which I told my friends, colleagues, and also agents that want to sell new homes. Once you sold a Toll Brother Homes, you could call yourself a luxury home seller. Why? Is because Toll Brother homes are so much higher in pricing compared to the median value for the same size, same in the same neighborhood. The reason why is because they have a lot of upgrades. They have a lot of design elements that's incorporated in there, and for people just want to buy a regular house, white walls and regular material, then Toll Brother is not your choice. The reason why I say when you sell a Toll Brother home, you're selling a luxury home is because people that wants to have a high quality of living, when they walk into Toll Brothers model home, it automatically opens their eyes. And for agents and brokers, that's half of the success because the model homes actually sell it for you. They have the money, they will definitely go forward and then make sure mm, they get the best out of what what they could buy, especially if they're buying the home for themselves to live in. Kenny, next slide, please.
Of course.
Thank you. Okay, this is the living room. I mean, sorry, this is the bedroom, master bedroom of the typical Toll Brother home. Floor to ceiling window. Um, Even the ceiling has a lot of design elements that's incorporated in it. So basically, the picture is self-explanatory. So next slide, please, Kenny.
Yes.
That's Toll Brother Kitchen. A lot of these kitchen um, that Toll Brother did, it's becoming a model, a um, how do you say it? It's becoming a standard for a lot of new home builders to follow. Instead of using regular stuff material that trying to get sell and get rid of the home, they start doing more of a high end appliances like monogram and also the center island. They've been doing this like they call the waterfall quartz, which is it doesn't end on just the top; it ends all the way to the bottom of the floor. So these kind of small things that the design that the touches that they put in, it's enhancing the quality of living in this environment. And you can look at the ceiling. Basically, they have embedded LED the lighting inside the ceiling, plus um, enclosed lighting and speakers, and it's irregular shaped that enhances the visual um, design. That when you walk in the kitchen, you have a wow factor comparing to just a chrome molding rectangular kitchen space area. Kenny, next slide, please.
Of course.
And this is a typical Toll Brother bathroom. This they like to use the same flooring material as the wall material. So a lot of people might not pay attention to why they do that. It's actually to make the space look bigger. If you have two different elements on the wall and on the floor, you create a more of a 3D kind of a space. If you have the same the material on your wall and on your floor, you basically have a more flat space of a visual design. So they they're willing to spend money on their model homes, so they make sure that everything that they put in is there's a wow factor in there. So picture is pretty self-explanatory, and actually, if you look straight in the middle, that's a walk-in closet that looks like a boutique, walking in a boutique store from your own bathroom. Kenny, next slide, please.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so this is the one that I was talking about from the first slide. This is a lot of effort, and I've been watching them trenching and flattening that hill, that mountain, since pandemic. That's March 2020. Um, they stopped for about a month and a half due to uh, the pandemic. But eventually, they were essential workers, so they started trenching again. I believe in middle of April to late April, and they basically just flattened the whole mountain out. This whole civil engineering. It's just quite amazing because I was there to watch. It's like watching a child grow. While there's a Yoshinoya, which I have basically like two lunch per week over there, eating my Yoshinoya and watching them flatten that hill.
Okay, so you're a
So
fan of Yoshinoya
it's
too.
yeah, yeah. So and you cannot eat in the restaurant, so I ate in my car, and then I see them working on that project. It's kind of like a personal feeling. I mean, I don't work for Toll Brothers, but and or Lennar, but seeing them team up together to move on this project during the pandemic, it's like a motivation for a lot of our agents and buyers and sellers. So I think there's one more after this slide. Can we go
Yes,
on to
I
the next
think
one?
there is. Yes, of course.
Okay. Okay. So this is a rough the site map. That's basically on the right, which is towards the east, is San Gabriel Boulevard. On the left, which is towards the west, is um, Paramount, I believe. Oh wait, yeah, yeah. It's near that. Okay, that area basically is right next to Montebello Mall, and also there's a nice DoubleTree hotel. There's a Chinese sky. Sky something television network station over there. So, and it's right off 60 freeway, but you cannot hear the freeway at all. So after that, give you this location, you guys kind of have an idea where this whole project is at. Um, to give you a rough number on this project, 488 acres has been planned for this whole project area. About 263 acres, which is this drawing right here, it's dedicated towards oh, actually, I'm sorry, 263 acres surrounding this site map will be dedicated towards a permanent nature reserve. So you basically have a not just cookie cutters housing all over the place. When you see it's all roofs, but you have greens, surroundings, um, a nature reserve, which is the animals that you could see, just by walking, in your backyard or in the mountainside. And then there's also 36 acres of dedicated area for parks. So this is a very, I would say, uh, well planned space for residents that wants to enjoy living, that wants to have a good commute, and then all at the same time, without having the stress of living, very close to each other, the next door neighbors, and then that doesn't have any nature factor or views. Uh, for this home, you basically get everything. So I would understand why Lennar want to team up with Toll Brothers to develop this project, which I heard from the inside that the middle section, which is all going to be single family homes, and towards the outer section, they're going to have 3-story townhomes. So the three-story townhomes, basically, it's the garage on the bottom, and then you get two floors of living spaces. Those are more affordable homes. They start from 1,500 square feet to 1,800 square feet from the lower levels, and then goes up to 2,000 to 2,800 square feet for the mid levels, and then 2,800 square feet to 4,100 square feet for the single family. So you basically get 3 levels of buyers for this site. And don't be alert, because in Irvine there's a lot of this type of development as well. It's not just a luxurious home site, but this whole neighborhood is new, and for young people, students, for young couples, they just had a baby, for elder families, they have a larger family. It's very um, broad for this area, in a home site that's built specifically for, actually not specific for one group, but for everyone that's actually looking for buying new homes. So this is something that definitely for all the cinema agents, it's a very easy commute to this area, and once they start developing the model homes, I strongly suggest you to go take a look and then get their site map, have an idea, and maybe get on their waiting list for your potential buyers. And I believe they will love it when they set their foot on the site. I think that's the rest of the slides, right, Kenny?
Yes, I think you pretty much concluded the presentation. I would have some questions for you, but I'll save it till the
Okay.
very end. Now,
Okay.
let's go to Jean Riley and see what she has to say. And before I do that, let me say hello to a few people that checked in. I have Kathy and Wayne just checked in, and welcome everybody. All right, let's go to Jean Riley. Stand by, Tim, and watch Jean Riley for now. Okay, we got. All right, apparently I have the wrong screen on. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can get Jean Riley on.
It's still me. Oh, there's Gene.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see. I was supposed to be able to get her on the screen. Okay. Oh, it's you. And now here's Jean. All right, Jean, I got you on the screen. All right, go ahead and tell us, what you do best in San Diego, and then tell us what you're going to present to us tonight.
Sure. So I'm a sentiment agent since 2016. I start my real estate career as a dental landlord. So we bought multiple home before we even got our real estate license. And I also get my feet wet doing property management. So I would say I am pretty familiar with all the property management issue, which comes in very handy because I have some clients are investors, and so I'm able to help them calculate the numbers and figure out where is the best place to buy. But in addition to that, so that's where how I started my real estate career. But right now, I really do enjoy helping my buyers buying and selling, and not only for the new home but also for the resale home. It's such a great accomplishment, feelings when I can help my client get what they wanted. So that's kind of my background. And then today I want to share with you a little bit about San Diego market. The market hasn't, the market information hasn't quite changed that much yet. So if you could show the first slide, we can look
Of
at
course.
the new listing in San Diego.
Of course, before I
So
do
this
that, let me say hello to
compare,
Carlos.
sure.
Carlos just joined us. Hello, Carlos. All right, go ahead, Jin.
Sure. So the first size is new listing, and it compared the 3 years. So this year, the year before, and the year prior. So last year, the same time, that's already we already started the pandemic. So you can see the graph look very similar. The first year was 2019 has a significant more listing. Last year, and then this year has similar amount of listing. So the little tricky thing is, obviously we are hoping to see more inventory, more listing on the market, and that way buyer has a easier time to buy. But so far, the inventory is still very similar this year versus last year. And then on the bottom, you will see kind of the graph. You will see it's actually very similar shape. It's that's why I always tell people real estate is seasonal, especially in San Diego. There's always more listing coming on the market, in spring. And then after maybe like October or so, the listing will decrease and then it will come back up again the next year, probably February or so. So the next slide, please. If we can look at the median house sales price. Median sales house price, this one is really quite interesting because um, you will see this year, 2021, the price really shoot up quite a bit. And then last year, 2020, the price was still very similar because we are comparing May last year with this year and also 2019. May last year, we literally just kind of started the pandemic. So people are still kind of at the watch, most. They are not going crazy on buying home. But right now, if you talk to anyone, you will know the price actually went up quite a bit. I stopped by one of my clients recently, and I helped them buy a nice home in Del Sur, which is in a very nice master planned community in Power Unified School District. They bought it towards the end of last year, 2020, and I think they paid 1.15. Right now, exactly the same floor plan is selling for $1.4 million. That is crazy. That's a quarter million increases. So I'm not surprised to see the median price actually went up. Let's look at the next slides. So the next
Of course.
slide is very similar data. It's also about sales price, but instead of median sales price, it's using average sales price. And I want to point out, when you look at the average sales price, you notice the price actually jump up quite a bit because the average price now instead of I think the median is 865. The for the medium sales price, but the average sales price is actually $1.176 million. And you ask me why there's a huge differences. Well, here's the interesting thing about pandemic. I don't know you noticed or not. but more and more luxury home actually got sold during pandemic. So luxury home, ultra luxury home, home that is more than $2 million, $3 million and up is selling faster than before pandemic. And so when you take the averages, that actually boosts the average sales price for that. For the next slide, we're going to look at the days on market. Days on market has been significantly decreasing. So right now it's roughly about 20 days, and that's for the entire San Diego. However, my personal experiences for the property my client want to buy, it's not even on the market for a day. It's crazy. I remember just last weekend, I have a few buyers I'm working with, and we want to see some homes, and literally just got on the market. And I make appointment the same day, and then the very next day, my appointment got canceled because it already went into pending. So a lot of my buyers are very discouraged by, they don't have the opportunity to see the home, and they are also very surprised how fast the inventories is gone. And so at the end of the presentation of the slides, I want to actually share with you some of the things I observed, when working with buyer. Some for the offers I have written, and then the feedback from the sellers. And I'm hoping you can use that information to help your buyer, or if you are buyer yourself, to prepare yourself, to brace yourself for a fast moving market. So the days on market significantly decreased. And then the next slide actually will show you uh, the month supplies of inventories. And this one is also pretty low. So Kenny, we are talking about the month supply of inventory. That's the slice after here. And right now we have less than a month of inventory. Compared to 2019, we actually have almost 6 months of inventories. From
Wow.
6 months to less than a month. That is a significantly drop. And so no wonder buyers are having a hard time buying. And so that's kind of my presentation of the slides. So right
Okay.
now I want to share with you. Um, so I want to share with you my personal experiences. First of all, if you are a seller, I'm going to be quite busy with my listing. I have 4 listings coming up. I I'm already trying to figure out how I'm going to do my open house. Anyway, and I also have who want to see homes, so I don't really know what to do. But anyway, I actually discussed with one of my seller because he has 2 properties I need to sell, and both of the property are very similar. They are literally just a street over from each other. So I explained to my sellers, I don't think we should be a direct competitor of ourselves. Meaning, if I put both of his property on the market at the same time, we're going to be competing between, among ourselves, right? His 2 listing. So he agreed to let me list one, and then once that one to get into escrow, I'm going to be list a second one. So anyway, so for the seller, I guess my recommendation right now is the market is still super, super hard for seller. And if you have any house you want to sell, get it ready on the market as soon as you can. Of course, you know, I mean, house prices always increase, right, in the long run. So if you don't sell next year, you probably will still get a good price. But if you are thinking about selling now versus maybe 3 months from now, I would say just get ready and list it as soon as possible, because summer typically is our busy season. That's where family want to get their kids into school. So if you have inventory in a good school district, go ahead and put it on the market. That would be very helpful. So that's my recommendation for the sellers. And now I want to kind of share some information and experiences I have recently with buyers. And then I guess this is something like, what should you expect if you are buying a home? And there are a few things I have written out I want to discuss with you. And I'm going to talk more about in terms of kind of like writing offer and then seller countering you. So before we send in the offers, the house is getting on the market pretty quickly, and also pretty quickly they disappear. So I have mentioned, like, literally the house just got on the market for one day, and my buyer want to see it. The next, I make appointment for the next day. And unfortunately, the house is already went into pending. I have a few experiences like that already. And one of the buyers, I even remember I took him to see multiple property. And one of the property we were getting ready to write the offer. Before I even hit the offer, the agent told me we gotta accept the offer. And I'm like, no way. I was pretty quick. I saw the house the same day and I wrote the house the same day. So just I think that's something you should be preparing for right now when you are seeing home. And so anyhow, if you do submit the offer, this is what is going to happen and what you will expect. It's because I represent a lot of buyers and I see a lot of seller counter offer back, and I kind of know what the seller wanted. So if I can share my experiences with you, you can use that when you write your next offer, or when getting ready to see the next home. So the first things I notice, what people usually, what the listing side or seller side usually have question, is the deposit. And here's a very interesting thing, and I think it's very underutilized as a strategist, because I have talked to many people, many buyers, and many agents, and most people are very scared of putting higher amount of deposit, because in their head they are thinking the seller can keep their money and don't give it back to them if they don't buy the home. And the answer is yes or no. The seller can keep your deposit, however, only up to 3% if you do not follow the contract and you remove all the contingency but decide not to sell, then the seller can withhold 3%. And why is 3% is the has any significance? Because in California, 3% is a liquidated damages. That's something already discussed on the RPA, the Residential Purchase Agreement. So I remember when I first bought my home, or even long time ago when I wrote the offer for my client, I think I might have only put down 1% of the purchase price as a deposit. However, at that time it was not very competitive, and I start noticing roughly about last year, 2020s, I put 2%, and I start getting listing agent contacting me back with 3%. So I just kind of explained to my buyers, let's go ahead and do 3% because that's what's expected to do. And then I also realized if everybody's doing 3%, then my buyer is not going to be anything special, right, than any other buyer. Everybody's doing 3%. So I recently got one of my buyers offer accepted. Actually, just today, I convinced him to do $100,000 as a deposit. And obviously, he was pretty nerve-wracking, but I'm like you're going to put down $400,000 as a down payment. So $100,000 as a deposit will go towards your $400,000 down payment. It's not, it's not a big deal. And then obviously he asked me, what if, the seller withhold my money and then just like steal my money and don't give it to me? And then I told him, if you do exactly what I tell you to do, I will guarantee you will never lose your money. And I have never, ever lost, not even a penny for any of my buyers. So as an agent, if you watch out all the contingency, if you follow the rules, you're going to know what to do to protect your buyer. So that's why I'm saying, like, be expected, you probably will be counter as a 3% back in terms of deposit. But if you want to get the winning offer, deposit is one of the options you could do to increase your opportunities. I think I actually recently have a couple buyer. There was another one just closed about 2 weeks ago. He also did a $100,000 deposit like I recommended. And that one was so cool, so neat because um, we were able to beat up another offer or multiple offer. And then in the end, I still negotiated with other things. I actually got him under his budget, and also the purchase price he has is actually $100,000 less than appraised value. So instantly, my buyer has $100,000 equity, and that's really cool because because I talked to the agents, I was like, why did you select our offer? And many times they did tell me it's because the sizable deposits my buyers are willing to put in. And why that make a big difference is because the seller believe the buyers are more sincere. They are more willing to buy this home. They are willing to put their money on the line, to secure this house. So that's that. And another thing you should expect in terms of buying a home is the seller probably will ask you to waive appraisal contingencies. So what does that make a difference for the sellers? Well, it make a huge differences because everybody is overbidding right now. The seller doesn't want to get accept the offer with a number they like, but then lose it because there's appraisal contingency. So that's why seller is protecting themselves. Then what does that mean for the buyers if you waive appraisal contingency? So recently, I think pretty much all my buyer has waived appraisal contingencies. Unfortunately, that's just the market. If you don't do it, then you won't get your offer accepted. But at the same time, waiving appraisal contingency doesn't mean you cannot do does not mean you will skip your appraisal process. Unless your lender give you the appraisal waiver, and usually appraisal waiver will happen when you have significant down payment, and when you also in the community that has appreciating value. Usually maybe like 40% down payment, most likely will get you the appraisal waiver. But I also know there was another rule. If the house you are purchasing is more than $1 million, I guess it doesn't really matter your down payment. I think the lender still want to do their due diligence, so they will still send the appraiser. So, so you waive the appraisal waivers, and then what happens if the appraisal value comes down lower than your purchase price? Well, you are in trouble. Well, it doesn't mean you are in big trouble. It just means you need to have the money set aside to bridge the differences of the appraisal gap. And so that's why when we wrote the offers, I will write something like, the buyer. So basically you can use the contingency removal form to remove the appraisal contingency. And then on the RPA, you can even write it more clearly, saying buyer will breach the appraisal gap. So when you do that, you need to make sure you do have enough cash to breach the appraisal gap. And then on the other hand, if you are listing agents, when the buyer write, I will breach the appraisal gap, the first things I look is how much cash the buyer has. Because if the buyer doesn't even have that much net worth, they don't have a lot of cash, they don't have a lot of investment account, it doesn't really matter whether they write they will breach appraisal gap or not. I will doubt they will have ability to breach the gap. So I will ask them to give me more proof they have ability to breach the gap. So that's that. Another thing, seller might you do, and then in terms of buyer, what you expect is to waive inspection contingency. Okay, so as a buyer's agent, I don't necessarily recommend buyer to waive the inspection contingencies. But I did have buyer told me they will waive inspection contingencies. The most recent case, they were very experienced investors. So they already kind of checked the house. They are not too worried about it. They already want to remodel the home. So waiving the inspection contingency was not a big deal for them. But it might be a big deal if the buyer is not very experienced, or if the property is an older properties. So one of my personal examples, I'm actually just doing negotiation, is I help one of my buyers got a condo's offer accepted. He did not waive the inspection contingency, even though the listing agent want us to sign. I think on the seller counter, the listing agent wrote the house is sold as is. I didn't argue with the listing agent because, as you know, if you read the RPA already say property is sold as is anyway, right? So I think the agent just want to kind of double make sure I know that. But at the same time, even if the house is sold as is, my buyer still have an inspection contingency, right? So I can still order inspections. So I did order inspections, and then actually everything nice, except there was something I couldn't see, and that's why I want to mention to you. For the older buildings, be careful, because I think that condo was built in the 1970s or 1980s, and unfortunately, the listing agent believed the heater is brand new, but unfortunately, it was not. My inspector went up to the rooftop and he took pictures and he told me, Jean, this is one of the oldest units for these buildings, the one your buyer is buying, and we couldn't even get the heater to turn on. And so I explained that to the listing agents. Then the listing agent mentioned to me, well, you guys agreed to buy the house as is. And I say, true, but I also, my buyer still have the inspection contingency. So my buyer could also walk away, right? And then my buyer is getting loan. If there's no functional heater for the condo, this loan will not get approved. And my buyer is very sincere in buying this condo, but at the same time, I need to get the heater things fixed, repair or replace. So I talked to the listing agent, she agreed. And then she gave me a referral of the HVAC heating and cooling company, heaters and AC company. So I decided to go ahead and use the one listing agent recommended, because I didn't want the listing agent to think I'm kind of like playing the game. So I had the technician came over, and then this is the craziest thing. So, well, not that crazy, but it was pretty expensive price tag. It was $8,000. So if I didn't fight for it, my buyer would have ended up buying that condo and pay $8,000 out of his pocket, if he want to live there. So I fight for it, and then I was very happy because originally the listed agent kept telling me the house is sold as is, the condo is sold as is. And I say, well, I mean, California contract is always sold as is, but at the same time does not mean the buyer cannot request, right? So I might prepare request. And then the listing agent, they finally agreed tonight. They're going to credit my buyers $8,000 at the closing. So that was great news for my buyer. So anyhow, be careful about waiving inspection contingency, because there might be something you don't know that might bite you in the back. Okay, the next thing is, sorry, let me look at time. Am I going over my time?
A couple more minutes you have.
So I'm going to go very quickly for the rest of them. Okay, so I'm going to go quickly for the rest of that. Another thing the seller might to have you do is shortening the contingencies. Those I usually don't have any problems, because you don't need 17 days to do home inspections. You don't need 21 days to do loan contingencies. Go ahead and ask your lender ahead of time, how many days do they need it to get the loan approval? And also, if you could get your buyer's DU, desktop underwriter approval. So if you have that, essentially your buyer's loan is approved, just pending on the appraisal report and the title report and a residential purchase agreement. So go ahead and do that. And then another thing I noticed is sellers are refusing to pay some of the things. So as the buyer's agents, be prepared for that. So right now I'm noticing some of the sellers are rejecting, not paying home warranty. Home warranty is not that expensive. It's about $500 to $600. So if you factor that in, it's not a big deal. And then I also noticed sellers that are not paying for termite. I have more and more sellers refusing to pay termite now, which is not a big deal. I mean, termite inspection is less than $100, and so um, they are not paying termite. That means you cannot request, if there's any termite issue. So again, I did help my buyer to get some of the termites. I think I recently have one. It was $8,000 too, for the termite damages, and I got that every single penny for my buyer to do the termite work. The last things I want to mention is rent back, seller rent back. So before pandemic, I never see that many seller rent back. And if there was ever a seller rent back, usually it's 30 days. Now I'm seeing more and more seller rent back for 60 days or longer. And also seller are not paying for the rent back. And then as a buyers, you might say, well, that's not fair. I just pay a lot of money for the home. I pay more than the listing price. I pay over market value. Why should I pay the seller to live there for free? Well, just keep in mind, if you don't do it, many other buyer will do it. So if you want your offer to get accepted, that's something you should keep in mind. And I always explain to my buyer, the first month you buy the home, you actually are not paying mortgages. So let's say if you close June the 30th, you are not paying your mortgage July 1st. You are actually paying August 1st because mortgage is 1 month delay. So essentially, you can let the seller do seller rent back for 30 days without paying additional mortgages. If you do 60 days, you only need to pay 1 month. So it's not a huge cost compared to, getting the home. So that's pretty much it for my recommendation to buyers and seller today.
All
Thanks,
right, all
Penny.
right. Thank you so much, Jean. Now let's go back to the three of us. All right, team, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do have some questions on
Mm-hmm.
your Montebello project. So you got Toll Brothers, you got Lennar.
Microphone on.
Okay, good. So you got Toll Brothers, you got Lennar, and you get another third developer. Any chance you remember the name of the third developer?
You mean for the Montebello home site?
Yeah, I think there are three builders, no? Or just two?
Um, Actually, just two because the third one is a civil engineering company.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
yeah, it's a very well-known company. They're pretty big, but they don't have anything to do with the sales and the model building. They basically just do the landscape.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed at the project because it's over 400 acres. That is about the same size as three routes in San Diego. That's a huge
Yes,
development, right? So you got two
yes,
Yeah.
big
it's a whole
developments,
mountain.
one in Greater Los Angeles and one in San Diego. I'm not aware of any other ongoing projects that are bigger than these two in Southern California. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is probably two of the biggest right now. Now,
You are correct.
concerning the one in Montebello, Montebello is gonna become a more well-known household name now going forward. Before, when everybody heard about Montebello, we have a certain assessment of what kind of city Montebello is. But certainly with Toll Brothers and Lennar going in to build project like that, I think going forward we're gonna look at Montebello differently now, okay, than
Hmm.
before. And
Yes,
they're
for sure.
starting out at a price range of 700,000. Do you know how
Hmm.
much is the higher end?
The higher end so far it goes between 1.2 to 1.4 million for single family homes, up
And
to
you can
4,000
get as
square
much
feet.
as what, 4,000 square feet
Yes,
for that
but
price?
yeah, for the price, that's the anticipated pricing. But due to building material fluctuating, I think by the time they start selling the first phase in 2022, and plus the inflation, we might see between 1.3 to 1.5 million range. That's the highest point for that range.
Yeah, it's quite similar to the concept is quite similar to Three Roots in the sense that you got here you have the housing community surrounded by conservation. I think kind of like in Tree Roots, you got the housing community
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by different kinds of amenities. So for people that
Hmm.
are going to be living in Montebello, uh, it's heaven because it's close to downtown LA. You can find jobs in downtown LA, and it's not a great commute. Would it
Yes,
be closer to the 60 freeway?
it's basically right off the 60 freeway. It's about a mile south from 60 freeway. But due to the situated home site, you do not hear any noise from the freeway. And also, there's a lot of trees surrounding the neighborhood, so it's a very quiet and kind of like a secluded area inside that mountain. And since Kenny, you mentioned about commutes, it is very close to Monterey Park. It's about a 5 minute drive. It is really close to Roland Heights, heading east, about 7 8 minute drive. And to the south, I think you could go to Whittier, and also down to Long Beach. So basically, it's and also to downtown LA. It's about 15 minute drive. So it's a very centered, located in newly developed area that I think a lot of people will gain interest on.
Yeah, I certainly am interested in recommending these new communities to some of my buyers. Uh, People that don't have kids are less concerned about the school district. Certainly,
Yeah.
Montebello is never known for a school district. So I think if you
Hmm.
don't have that issue, it's really a great place to get a home in. So I would strongly encourage. Now, any idea when they might have model homes? Or are we still a long way from there?
The next set of information I'll be getting is around middle of September. So middle of September, I am actually should be getting the model home and plans, and also the phase build outs. Not necessarily the phase release. Phase release may be towards the winter of this year, and that's
Okay.
only towards the townhouses first.
Wow, that's pretty exciting.
Hmm.
For new agents that want. Now, the only one concern is lately, more and more builders are not paying commission to agents. I don't know what you guys hearing. I personally have encountered a few places already, a couple of places in the Sacramento area, and lately in the Bay Area. I think in San Diego we might be seeing the same thing.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
this
for
is
sure. I already experienced one.
yeah.
All right, while we're talking about
It
San
is a.
Diego, yeah, go ahead, Tim.
Mhm. Oh yeah, very quickly. It is a concern for not just new agents but also existing agents that's trying to um, have real estate be a career as a full time. But don't be too much stressed or alerted because even though Lennar is paying little, Toll Brothers is paying probably a little bit more than Lennar. But once you have the buyer relationship and you buy you purchase a home for them, they might have a house to sell and you could list their property, or they might see you as their long-term agent and then introduce you to other people that might want to buy not just residential but also commercial. So you got to keep your options open, not just by projects, specifically on how much commission you get, but you got to look at the big picture of what you could get in this whole web of connections.
Yeah, think of it this way because some of these buyers could be sellers themselves. So if you could provide an excellent service, even under the circumstances that you're not getting paid by the builder, I
Hmm.
um, I can't say that everybody is going to reciprocate, but the law of reciprocity usually applies. So I think for some buyers anyway, you know, they will show their gratitude. You may be able to list their homes for them. So I think in that respect. Don't feel bad.
Yes.
I mean, also you have to think about it. Representing a buyer at a new home is a lot easier than representing a buyer at an existing home. Okay, you have much less to do. That's for sure. All right, Gina, let's
Hmm.
give us an update on the Tree Roots. What's going on in Tree
Mhm.
Roots right now?
So Three Rules has their first pre-release. So before they even build any models, they already went through the first round. I have several buyers who apply or to be on their priority list. And with Three Rules, it's very interesting because there are three builders. There's Lennar, there's Shea Home, and there's California West. So you need to apply three times if you want to be on the list for all three builders. And then for each of the builders, they also have different type of models. So if you want something more expensive, then you actually need to apply at the different places too. So it's a very time consuming task to do. Um, I know so far, I think one of my buyer is on the list to be contacted to buy. So hopefully, he's going to beat up everybody else to purchase. But other buyers, I think they just we don't have any update yet. It just there are so many people who want to buy, and I think last time when we did the market updates, I have shared there are 14,000 people on the list for only 200 homes for the first release. It's
200
crazy.
homes for
It's
the
even
first release.
harder than buying. Yeah, and I today I have another buyers. They are buying new home as well, and this is actually another things I notice builders are doing. They You actually need to put in a bet when you buy new homes. They tell you, okay, this price was starting at $1 million, and then you have an offer forms you fill out. It's not that long; it's only one page, and pretty much just ask, how much you want to offer. It did ask for whether you have an agents and your agent's contact informations. My buyer put my information there, but unfortunately, this is a Lennar. They are not paying anything, $0.
Hmm.
So if they are not paying anything, even Kenny, even if I try to represent them, that still cannot count as my deal because I'm not getting paid. The E&O is not going to cover me, right? So I I
Well,
mean, I
you're
told
not
the
gonna get
buyers,
sued anyway
I will help.
because you're not playing the role of an agent, so I wouldn't worry too much about that.
True.
Okay.
So in that case, would you recommend the agents still try to tell the builders I want to be on as their agents? Like, can I tell the build? Because I'd be more than happy to help them. It's just like I don't know how I can help them if the builders say you cannot have agents.
Well, I don't think
Do
they
you know?
necessarily mean it that way, though. I don't think there's any builder that can restrict an agent from
Okay.
not having an agent. I don't think they would do that because I think it's bad reputation on that. They can only say that you can have an agent, but your agent is not getting paid. I think that's the best they can do. Okay, they can't
Okay.
really say you can't have an agent. I don't
Okay.
think that's gonna
Then
happen. Okay, all right.
I see.
So
So I can still see because yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
all right, Tim. I got a couple more on this Montebello. I personally am very intrigued by it. Now you got how many total homes will be built? You said.
Oh, Toll Brother alone, they're building somewhere between 450 to 500 homes, single family. And all in all together with the townhomes, we're looking at about 1,600 to 2,000 new homes.
It's about the same number
And
as Tree Roots, almost the same size. Interesting. See, Tree
mhm,
Roots used to be a
yeah.
quarry. Okay, what was this Montebello site used to be?
The Montebello site on top of the mountain, it's basically all vegetations. On the side, I would say the south side, there are some oil pumps. Uh, these are all being removed. I think there's only two left. So with that being said, there might be crude oil underneath the house, and you can become a millionaire if you find the crude oil in the future, maybe or natural gas. But yeah, the site basically was a it's basically a preserve site, so it's not
Preserve,
much
yeah.
going on in yeah, in the mountain area.
Okay, all right. Excellent job, you guys. And if you like our program tonight, give us a thumbs up. That will give us some encouragement moving forward. And if for whatever reason you want to go back and watch some of the slides that we presented, this will be all recorded so you can go back. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, I will encourage you to subscribe to our channel. All right. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you in 2 weeks time. We have our market update every 2 weeks. All right, good night everybody.
Thank you.